start the recording of this, just so others who may not have been able to make it can connect and listen to what we talk about. And hopefully this will be a fairly quick telecon, because I really just wanted to firm up the logistics for the meeting itself. And Ken Kaiser was on telecon yesterday as well. I'm not sure if he'll be joining us today. I think he may have had a conflict with another project he's working on there at this particular time. But we seem to have nailed down this 90-minute session, which is great. And since Bob, you're online here, and Stefan, you as well, this session starts at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 11th, which is Thursday. And we have these key areas that we want to address. Of course, we need to give an overview of what we've been doing, and Kristen White is going to be giving some updates on what the Disaster Lifecycle Cluster has been doing at the State of the Federation address, which is great, and it's going to include a lot of the work that we've been doing. So the areas that we want to address in this particular 90-minute session, as it leads up to the All Hazards Consortium meeting, is the current status of our ORL efforts, the operational readiness level efforts, as it pertains to primarily operational organizations. And we decided to do that simply because we want those other ESIP Federation members that are working in research to get a taste of the operational users' demands and requirements for data. It's not exactly the same as requirements and demands for research data, because they need to get data in a timely fashion and need to assess it so they can make decisions and improve their situational awareness. So we're going to start. Yeah, go ahead.
I was agreeing with you.
Oh, awesome. Okay, great. Anytime you want to agree with me, speak. Happy to hear that. So the way in which this is going to start is Tom Moran from All Hazards Consortium is going to introduce the concept and the perspective of ORLs from the SICE work group, which is the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment work group of the Fleet Response Working Group. So he's going to share a little bit of background. Why did this whole concept of ORLs come up? Just for everybody on the line here and those that might be listening to the recording, operational decision makers require information quickly, and usually in the past, up until today, they would take any data and any information that was presented, and they never really asked the question of where's this coming from? Is it up to date? Is it timely? Is it passed through 2 hands or 50 hands? They never really had that understanding. They may have been curious about it, but didn't really know where to go or who to ask for it. So we came up within the Disaster Lifecycle Cluster with the concept of operational readiness levels. So we could assign eventually ORL levels to data sets, so the operational decision makers could make a quick decision as to whether or not this data was useful or not, whether it's in the pipeline to become useful, or whether it's a research product that's headed to be useful. Primarily, the original, definitions for ORLs came from the operational sector and the utility industry. So we asked them for input, what's important to them, and that's where we started. So we started driving this bus down the road, and now more people are hopping on, which is great because that's the community-driven approach to identifying these levels and what the ESIP Federation is all about. And eventually we'll come up with a standard definition which applies to all the ORL levels that the community has offered input to, which we start to use. and then it may improve further down the road as we get other users as well. So as we start this session, Tom Moran will give that overview. He has 5 minutes for this, so it's got to be pretty quick. And then Kerry Hicks from Duke Energy is going to take over and talk about the ORL levels from a Duke Energy perspective and how she sees this evolving and the benefits of having ORL levels, and how, as we develop the model and the templates for identifying what data ORL levels are assigned, these templates can be used by other organizations and other companies and maybe other energy companies and emergency managers and things like that. So it will really give the Disaster Lifecycle Cluster and the ESIP Federation some growing visibility as people talk about how they might want to use data sets and how they can apply these ORL levels to add confidence levels to their decision making. So Kerry has about 15 minutes to talk about that. And then we're going to move into ORL examples in the ESIP community, which Maggie will start off for 10 minutes and talk about her experiences dealing with earthquakes, the Earthquake Clearinghouse out in California, working with Exchange Corps, and what kind of key data sets have they identified with the state of California that are very useful when a hurricane or a earthquake happens. How quickly can they turn data around, and what ORL levels would be assigned to those data sets? So that's also not just operational, but it's research, introducing research into the mix, because JPL is primarily a research organization, not operational, but they're getting this feedback from the operational community as to what products would be useful. And then when Maggie's done, Bob will hand it over to Bob Chen, and he'll talk about the data sets that are being developed at CDAC, what kind of levels he might assign to those, and talk about how useful the data sets have been. Maybe he'll use the example of the widget that we integrated into the GeoCollaborate testbed for the Fleet Response Working Group, which people are using. And
that's great.
Yeah. So it's terrific. I mean, and we could demonstrate it live to people in there, or Raphael de Amier will be in person there. He's Storm Center's Chief Technology Officer. So he could always show it to everybody as well. But it's just a perfect example of how ESIP Federation partners can work together to bring data and services into an operational piece of technology that's being used to move fleets around the country. So I think that's it's going to be a great example. And so Bob will have 10 minutes to talk about that, and maybe, some other things that he's bringing down the pipeline.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And then after Bob Chen is finished, we'll have Ken Kaiser from UAH talk about how he's taking the concept of ORLs and perhaps leading to a discussion of how to facilitate a prototype app that people might use to tag their data as a particular ORL level. So tagging metadata with ORLs. And so he's going to be talking about that a little bit. He'll have 10 minutes just to show that there is a future and a life of doing these ORLs, not just will people use them to understand what the numbers mean, but then how can we expand the amount of data sets that are given ORLs based on some app or application that could be used to tag data sets with ORLs. So I think that kind of gives us an exciting look into the future of where things could go. And then the rest of the time we'll open up for questions and discussions, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussions, because Kerry Hicks and Raphael are having lots of deep discussions on, what type of metadata needs to be included to be a ORL 1 or a 2, and how do these ORLs apply to different users, and things like that. So they have all sorts of ideas, which certainly could take us to the end of the time, but we'll also open it up to those in attendance and hopefully some will be folks that are going to be attending the All Hazards Consortium, rest of the day, that we get a
Yes.
solid understanding of what the ORL approach means.
Yeah, it would be good to get feedback from them as well on the ORL approach.
Right, I agree. Bob. I mean, if FEMA really buys into this, then they could really help drive some of these requirements for what they think makes trusted data, and to make sure that their requirements and definitions make it into the ORL definitions.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. And so after the discussion, or during the discussion, Stefan, I know you had suggested perhaps that we take a look at a couple of use case examples, and maybe be prepared to show some worldview tool data sets. And I wanted to ask you, in worldview, what are the data sets that are displayed in worldview? They can be exported as KMLs and other type of services, or um, what kind of formats do you need for worldview?
So, all the data that drives it is an open source, OGC format that drives worldview. So most of the data behind it comes from Gibbs. Actually, we get a couple data sets from CDAC straight from their server into worldview. But all the data that worldview uses, and it's with one B, GIBS.
Oh.
And that drives the data, and you can use it with other other tools. So you could use a variety of clients, or specific applications. Worldview is kind of honed for satellite imagery, and yeah, that's it. And there's 500 different types of this. You can go hit add layers on the bottom left there, and that shows quite the list.
I just want to look at the storm first. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Now, click on the side there where you see Aqua, and you'll get it. 420. Hopefully it's on. Yeah, that one, you can click that. That's Veer's data.
Which one?
So the little eye, a little bit farther to the left of that. Click right there. All right, so that one's just coming in. You can turn that off. And then try the one below it at 420. So we're waiting for the next satellite pass. So if you toggle between those two, now you can see the change of it. Yeah, there you go. How far it moved. That's from 10:30 in the morning approximately to 1:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, there was even last night. There was lightning, a lot of convection along the coastline off the coast of Maryland. There was lightning. Pretty wild. That's amazing.
And then you could switch back on the date. You can get to yesterday, January 3rd, on the bottom left. Okay, yeah, that did it. There's a little arrow buttons on the bottom left to go back and forth. Okay. You could zoom out, see where this thing is coming from. And then, so it's down there in Florida and dumping it on them.
Now, if I want to take this and export this image as a KML or something else, I can do that, right?
Yeah, you can share the map. You can do a snapshot with the window, with the little camera right there, or you can just send the link to somebody. But you can also, so that's once you've seen this and you want to send it out. If you want to take it into another, like if GeoCollaborate wants to get something something like this, they probably the best way for them to do it is to go straight. To go to the Gibbs interface, and then you can pull it in native and use your own controls, as opposed to just taking one glance. But you certainly can take a snapshot if you want out of this.
And if I take a snapshot, it just makes, what do I want to do?
A world file right there.
World file would be yes.
Yeah.
And that's a zip. And when you unzip it, what does it become? What format?
It's a JPEG in this case. You can scroll up there. You can see you can have different formats. Just above the worldwide, see what formats. So it's got PNG, GeoTIFF, and KMZ.
Yeah.
Right there.
So if I did a KMZ format, and then it says it should be 1.83 meg.
Yes.
800. So then if I did, oh, I see. So I can.
And you can change the. Yeah. So it's 4.6 megabytes now, 6.3. And you can see the snow on the ground there after the clouds have cleared.
That's very cool. That's what I'm trying to get, is like in Northeast, just north of the Florida border, snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And you can turn on the borders. They're kind of faint there on the left if you want that to show up. I guess you're in the middle of the snapshot thing, so that's grayed out. You got to finish the snapshot and come back. That's assuming you've gotten everything.
Yeah. So it's downloaded it there. I'm gonna try to put that into GeoCollaborate and see what it looks like. See if it'll take it. I don't know where it downloaded it to though.
Well, do you have maybe in the top? I see a little blue arrow with the down button. Yeah. There you go. There's a 10. Like that time, it got a 10.8 megabyte file.
It's in my downloads. Okay. That's a world view. Cool. Let me try that real quick.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and you can.
we're on. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, let's see if it works. I probably need to talk to you too, just offline, Stefan, just with doing some other,
Sure.
getting that in.
Yeah, and you said you're going to have one of your developers who's going to be in person there. I can talk to him next week too.
Yeah, Raphael de Amier is the CTO for Storm Center, so he'd love to, catch him and talk to him, and so I can go add a layer to cache, and I can say it's a KML, and then I can I'll put it into a test group, and then browse.
So that was the Modus Terra.
It's this one.
Yeah.
We have a 10 megabyte limit.
Oh, gee.
Because, and it's the reason is because we collaborate a lot with people on their mobile devices.
Yeah.
So I just have to go in and make this a little smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may not need as much ocean.
There.
All right.
That's good.
988. Since this is just us on the telephone,
Yeah.
we can do some real-time testing.
Yes. Yeah. We'll see how accurate that size is, if it's an estimate or.
Worked.
All right. Fit the.
So what do we call this? We call this, what was this? Aqua?
Modus Terra. So it's the Modus sensor on the Terra satellite. And it's true color. Modus is actually all caps. It's an acronym. Terra is not. But
Okay, I'm thinking that there's a little navigation issue.
So zoom, move down here.
Maybe
You
not.
can pan it down, see Florida. Yeah.
All right, let me do something.
Hmm.
It looks like it's all in Georgia. There we go.
Yeah,
Georgia.
I was checking the map, the mapping accuracy of the KML KMZ transition.
Mm-hmm.
From this, looks like it's pretty accurate, huh? Or
Yeah, and you could actually, yeah, in Worldview, if you wanted to test it, I wouldn't. Since you've got a nice display there, I wouldn't do it. You could throw the state lines borders on, but this is a good way to do it, so you don't have any registration issues visible.
it looks like it's lining up pretty
Looks,
good right here. You know,
yeah.
these board, I guess. I mean, let me do something here.
Mm.
See if that. So this is off.
Yeah, that does not look so good there.
So really the snow. Although Charleston got 5 or 6.5 inches,
Really?
Yeah.
but this border here is.
Yeah, I don't know if we got into projection issues or.
That's a problem right here. So because look, there's snow on the beaches. That's why
Yeah.
you can see the outline there.
Yes.
It's very cool. Well, so maybe we could talk about this and solve this, because then we could make the look at this. That's interesting.
It looks like it lined up there near Jacksonville, but as it peeled off.
Yeah, and the Gulf Coast looks good. It's just the further north you get, the more it distorts. We've seen this. It's the type of projection that's being used.
Right.
Um,
That's interesting.
That makes sense.
whether it's like a WGS 84 or I forgot what all those. I can go here and make this a little bit more transparent. Okay. Well, no, this is cool. So what I thought as we were talking about, the ORL levels and everything, Stefan, it might open the doors. I would like you to be ready to show some of this stuff.
Okay.
Time allows, so that you can say, here are some of the things that for use cases where we can get to data sets, and if they're useful, we could assign ORL levels to them and provide the pathway to get this data.
Right. Yeah, because people are using this tool right now for example, wildfires. We get reports back from people in Canada and Africa, et cetera, saying, they're using this, that they don't have a way of easily surveying their huge parks because they're so big.
Yeah.
And this gives them, and then people looking at the ice in the rivers, and large path, this is, that it's not the high resolution that we're showing with this tool.
Right. So it's, just some people I think are, maybe interested in how they can take a look at data if they don't even know what data exists, and to have an interface, like Whirlwinds, which is, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, this is Worldview, not Whirlwind, but just to.
Yeah, sorry, it was a slip of the tongue.
Right. No, Whirlwind is another tool that NASA has. So, yep,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Um,
Which is a neat tool too.
right, right. But this is a way. So when you come to the worldview interface, the images that are available show up on the left-hand side. Is that right? Or there's
Yeah, if you go ahead and finish with this, hit an X there on the, and you can hit the Add Layers button there.
right.
And there's a plethora of different, and so, some of this stuff is for science. So you kind of might have to hunt around and really focus on what your use case is to find what you're looking for.
Right. And so I just got all the dams from CDAC, Bob.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I see them.
You guys are doing some damn good work.
Well, thank you very much.
Hey, Dave. It's Bob Chen. I'm on too.
Hey, Bob.
Bad
Good. Yeah, no. So this is great. So something like the the location of the file for the dams, we would have to go find that out from a service that you might be offering at CDAC rather than just downloading from here that file and making it a KMZ, right? Because we can only do like a screen capture. We can't get.
Yeah, you would want to go from CDAC. You guys have very nice web servers.
Right. Right.
Services that you can get.
Yeah, you can access our services directly. You can also get nuclear power plants and other things.
Right. Right. And so for the dams here, it looks like as I click or I scroll over something, I guess it looks like it highlights in that it's a high dam that I'm
Right.
on, right? So it does that real time. That's very nice.
Yeah, that's a functionality. Yeah, Worldview, and that works kind of for some of the other layers too at times.
Right.
Where it'll read off a value if you're, and it looks like you have some smoke down lower, but those anyway, can turn on fires. But so there were some purple ones when you were zoomed out too. But if you want to see the fire, you can do that, or if you want to focus on the CDAC data, we could click on some of the purple ones.
Yeah, and at the purple said recreation, I think. There's one.
There, yeah.
Recreation. So, yeah, I just think, I was just saying, Bob, I'm not sure exactly when you joined in, but when we get finished with Ken Kaiser's talk about how, the idea of creating an app or some capability to add ORL levels to metadata, that we open the discussion to this approach, and then have Stefan be ready in case somebody asks questions like, well, how do we even find out where data is? That could open the door, Stefan, as long as you can get to it quickly and just take a couple of minutes to show,
right.
Introduce worldview to everybody and say, this is a way to look at data, and if you really like the data sets, then you can take the path of okay, where is this data coming from, and if we want to use it in our decision making, how can we get it into our system?
Dave, if you go to the one of those little I buttons, like for dams, now the information symbol on the left where you were by the colored. Yeah, now go to the I. It's above. Okay, scroll. It doesn't have a link, does it? Stefan. Oh.
CDAC. It might be good to add a link to the data. Well,
yeah, I thought it did. Does that go directly to the? Yeah, it goes to the data set. Now you can click on the Map Services tab, and that's where you'll pick up the scroll down a little. Oh, okay, just the, you can link on that URL on the bottom, the one that says Grand V1.
Yeah. So that's good because we're almost there then, because if we can get an address for a service, then you can just cut it and put it right in
Yeah,
to GeoCollaborate.
yeah, I thought it was clickable, but
No, that's very cool. This is
oh, I see. It's embedded in that little text box.
oh, I see it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I see it. Yeah. So if we took that
I'm not sure why it's clickable.
layers, what is it like? Can you tell what layer is visible on this? I don't think you can. But if I went into GeoCollaborate and then I said add a layer, then I could paste that URL down in there and say, I don't think I need this. And then it's a WMS. I don't know if you need a visible layer or not on that. Test. This is probably, oh, you know what? This also has to be, I'll just put an S in there for HTTPS, but we only get HTTPS.
Yeah, I think we serve it up as HTTPS too.
Yeah, okay. So if I say add layer, I never get it on the first try anyway, so it looks like it didn't get it, but maybe I can do this real quick. Oops. No, it wants a visible layer. I don't know if it's like 0 or 1 or whatever the number is.
Hmm.
It didn't. That's right. Yeah, look at the navigation there, Stefan, in the Chesapeake. So it's
Yeah.
a projection issue, and I think our guy Tom Weibel has done, worked on this a lot. Where it's definitely a WGS, 84 or whatever kind of projection is being used. Translation in Esri here. Looks pretty darn cool though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if Stefan, if you can be ready for that, then I'll help to try to lead the discussion from Austin at AMS and just say, hey, let's just take a look real quick at Whirlwinds, and if Stefan's ready to show it, then
Okay.
what you might need to do, Stefan, is use the computer that the screen sharing is hooked up to.
All right. I could get on the computer, I guess, beforehand.
Yeah, just check it out and see if you can connect and just have it as another tab, and then you can just pull it over, and then it'll project, and then those participating online can see it too.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, that sounds good, guys. I mean, do you have any other questions? Like I said, I talked to Maggie earlier. She's good. I'm not sure. I'll have to connect with Karen to see if she'll be able to attend. I think she'll probably still be recovering from her surgery and probably won't want to make the trip, but I haven't spoken with her lately. Carrie Hicks from Duke is all set. I spoke with her yesterday. And Tom Moran will be there, and he'll be ready to do this 10-minute or 5-minute introduction too. So I think we'll be all good to go with this particular agenda.
Dave, we're going to be bringing down the poster that is a disaster clusters poster that was presented this summer.
Right. Right.
In Brazil, Argentina.
In Argentina, that's right. So are you going to bring that into the meeting?
Yes. Is there a place to hang that, or will there be a place?
You know what, Bob? I would say probably not in the breakout room. I'm not sure what it looks like, but I would say maybe you could ask Aaron or Annie for easel.
Yeah.
Where you can get that easel and get the poster into the room and just set it up in the front of the room, away from the screen, but make it easy
Sure.
to refer to it. That'd be great.
Yeah. So you're going to put that on the poster session too, the night before?
Yes.
Okay, great. But then having it in the room too when you're talking to it, that's a good idea.
I would almost even offer it to our president, who is why did her name just slip my mind?
Emily?
Emily. Emily is going to give the talk, but Christine White is she going to
Oh, Christine.
sort of like the State of the Federation kind of overview? I don't know if Christine or Emily are going to do it, but to have the poster up there too, because they're going to highlight the disaster life cycle cluster at work, and it might be cool to offer up the poster that she could have up there in the front of the room, so she could refer to it, Bob.
And is that going to be what day?
The State of the Federation is on the opening day, isn't it?
10th. No, that's Wednesday morning, the 10th. They have plenary talks on Tuesday morning, but the State of the Federation is 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday.
Yeah, so 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday. I mean, it would just be a nice prop for her,
And so the poster session is Wednesday night, right?
Yes, 6 o'clock Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's as long as it's still in good shape. After that, we could put it for the State of the Federation and then move it on over to the poster session after that.
Yeah.
So is that Emily or Christine?
Well, I supplied some bullet points on what the disaster life cycle cluster is doing, although maybe I haven't sent that email yet, but so she could mention it in her remarks.
Well, which one, Emily or Christine?
I sent it to Emily.
Oh, Emily?
And Emily
Law?
mentioned Christine. So she didn't say definitely send it to her, but she probably just copy both of them. I'll send it.
Okay.
I'll send them an email, Bob, and just suggest it and say that will you physically have the poster?
Yes, unless I can't get to the office tomorrow, but I'm expecting I should be able to get in. It's not that bad out there.
Yeah, I've got to get some stuff from my office too before I leave for AMS.
Yeah, I've got another poster.
Bob, I'll be in the office Monday morning before I take the train down. So.
And is it a cloth poster?
No,
It's not.
it's paper.
Okay. Well, I mean, this looks good to me. Here's the State of the Federation, the 8:30 a.m. Wednesday.
Hey, so Dave, I'm going to present instead of Bob.
Yep.
In one of the cluster sessions. Do you know? I'm trying to figure out when that was going to be.
So the meeting, Bob, is 9 to 10:30, which is January 11th. That's the Disaster Life Cycle Cluster meeting.
Thursday, right?
Thursday. I'll be joining remotely. Maggie from JPL will be joining remotely. Everybody else should be there. And can you see the screen now? Or you just dialed in?
Yeah.
Okay, so here you are. Carrie Hicks and Tom Moran are going to give their talk on ORLs. Tom Moran's going to have 5 minutes. And Carrie Hicks is going to have 15 minutes. And then we go to ORL examples in the community. And then Maggie's going to go. She has 10 minutes, and then you're after Maggie for 10 minutes to talk about, data sets that are being developed and refined there at CDAC, and how you might be thinking about assigning ORL levels to them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have Bob Downs' notes from whatever, a month ago.
Sure.
On what to present. So, that shouldn't be a problem.
And it's the same, the same advice I, gave to Carrie, because she was kind of fretting a little bit on just being real accurate on the ORLs. This is an evolving process, and we're asking for input from the community, and the community is helping us to define what should go into the ORL definitions. So from an operational perspective, and then from a research perspective. So it would just be great to hear your take on the ORL approach in this operational environment to your data sets. It'll give people some ideas for what you're thinking about for ORL levels.
Yeah.
And then Ken Kaiser is going to go after you. He'll have 10 minutes, have some discussion, and then have Stefan available for worldview, showing some different data sets.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I think this is awesome. I'll send this. I'll just save this as like a little PDF slide, or no, I'll just send out the PowerPoint, because whoever's there locally then can maybe put this up on the screen for a driving agenda or something,
Yeah, Bob and I will both be there. This is the first part of the AHC all-day meeting, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Is Tom's in charge of the rest of the agenda, rest of the day?
Tom Moran, yes. And probably John Molnar, he's another guy that helps Tom Moran, but Tom Moran is pretty much in charge of that agenda.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep getting all his reminder emails for it, so. But I couldn't find an agenda online this morning, so that's why I was.
Yeah, I'm sure he's working on it, but I also know, Bob, that he's had the flu the last several days and has been pretty sick.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay.
I think he's on the road to recovery, but yeah. This ORL perspective and SICE working groups, Tom Moran, Carrie Hicks. We did talk about the status of the ORLs, like how they came about, and I might give a few introductory remarks before I introduce Tom Moran. So that's why my name is up here. It'll be remote. So okay, well I think this is good. I mean, if you guys have any questions, let me know. But I think we're all set for this.
Sounds good. I probably missed your discussion, but I assume I'm sitting up on in Falmouth, and we've gone through our heavy rain and snow, and now we're going to hit and wind, and now we're going to get ice from the storm.
Oh my gosh! So what's it doing there right now?
I don't know. It's mostly wind, I think. Yeah, and there's power outages up on Boston and the South Shore. But the Cape actually didn't get nearly as much snow.
Right. Yeah, they have. We have the Fleet Response Working Group. This is the dashboard that's active right now, and they're expecting power outages up in Maine. And here's the.
So are the crews done in Puerto Rico? I've been getting the messages about them going to Puerto Rico, but
No, they were just assembling. They were pulling in. As a matter of fact, look at Knoxville. I was just demonstrating the on my instance the population tool around Knoxville.
oh, cool.
Yeah. No, they were driving across the whole U.S., going to strategic ports along the Gulf and the East Coast, so they could be transported to Puerto Rico. So I think after this last movement, after the first of the year, there's 5,500 utility workers from the mainland down in Puerto Rico right now.
Yeah, they filled up all the hotels.
Yeah.
Oh, right, Bob, you were down there.
Yeah, I just got back a few days ago.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yeah,
Wow. What were you down there for?
just vacation after Christmas for a few days.
And you could actually exist?
Oh yeah, well the first, no, I guess it was the second day we arrived. The hotel lost power for really the whole day, and we were a little worried, but we didn't open the refrigerator or the freezer, so everything would stay good. And it was funny because when the power went back on that night at 11 o'clock, everybody was down in the lobby basically hanging out. And when the power went back on, it was, everybody's running up to their rooms. But a half an hour later, we started smelling smoke coming through the vents. And so everybody had to evacuate their rooms, go back down to the lobby again. And so this is almost midnight. And, some people were panicking and the like. And we later found out that what had happened is when the power went off, somebody was cooking on their stove. And then when the power went back on, the stove resumed. And I guess there was no one there. And so the fire started in one of the units in the hotel. It was up on the 9th floor, and we were down on the 4th, so we weren't really in any danger. But the smoke was getting really thick.
But there were utility crews from the U.S. staying at that hotel?
Oh yeah, the place was full of them.
Wow.
Yeah, no. They said the hotel was closed, and the reason we were able to stay there is we had an Airbnb from one of the condo owners.
Oh, I see. Right.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. I'm surprised that you decided to go down there after all the stuff that's happened.
Well, they really need a little boost to their economy, and there are others like us there who are trying to help out in that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And the restaurants, they were doing well. They weren't really packed. You usually had your choice of seats in any restaurant, and we found ourselves going to the better restaurants repeatedly because some of the restaurants were closed.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure. Wow. Gosh, Bob, that should be the 8th talk that you give that week.
Yeah, he's going to be busy next week.
Yeah, I'll say. Take a nap. You're making me tired.
Yeah, well, those utility crews are going to be sent, probably recalled early, though, huh? Have to go back and fix all the power lines in the southeast.
I think strategically the companies let people go, and then knowing that they might have storms themselves. So there's, it is stretching them to the wire though to have to do multiple mutual assistance moves, which kind of plays into the narrative that is expected, where we'll have more extreme weather events that are going to stress systems.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys. Well, thanks very much. I appreciate you being on the call and everything, and have a great meeting next week. I'll be joining remotely as I take care of my AMS duties.
Oh, yeah. Have fun at AMS.
Yeah. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Okay. Take care, guys. Thank you.